We're your standard HVAC, plumbing, electrical, residential home service provider. Our mission is to give the trades a good home, provide a workplace where tradesmen and women can have honor in their work, do great work, take care of customers, and work on a great team that they enjoy coming to every day. Generally, like 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 calls is actually a lead for service in this business. The 75 to 80% of calls that are not leads for service take up a ton of the CSR's time. So when Hatch rolled out the Voice AI product, we had already started experimenting with Voice AI with other providers. And it made sense to bring everything under one umbrella with like shared context and shared interface. And then it just allowed us to help our CSRs not just be like completely inundated with inbound calls all day. The ability to put AI on the phones allows us to just manage the volume of calls and only escalate calls that need to go to a human. We track our abandoned call rate. We've been doing that for years. And we've worked very hard to try to get that abandoned call rate down below 4%, which we would consider, acceptable. And so even though we were adding more CSRs, we only got the abandoned call rate to where we wanted it when we actually brought AI onto the phones. So right now our abandoned call rate with Hatch Voice AI is 2%. I was just looking at the data earlier this morning. Just over the last month, we've booked 123 leads that we otherwise would not have answered with Hatch AI. That's real revenue on the board. It can be kind of scary to put AI on your phones. Phone answering is a critical part of a home service business. At first, we put AI in lieu of voicemail on the phone. So my CSRs were still leading and answering the inbound call, but if they missed it, AI would pick it up. We felt better about that risk that we were taking because I was going to miss the call anyway. So that's how we started. And then we transitioned to putting AI on the front of the phones, taking all that inbound call volume, and then now my CSRs are taking a lesser volume only of the escalations. So inbound call comes in, goes to AI. AI is able to handle it, book the call for a job, or provide any sort of context that the customer is asking for. And then for escalations, like an upset customer or some sort of issue that needs to be handled, it can escalate to a CSR. And one of the nice things about Hatch is that Hatch actually puts in front of the CSR sort of like a summary of the conversation that's already been had with the AI. The way we've been using SMS in Hatch is in outbound promotions. Prior to Hatch, we didn't have that capability and we weren't doing that. And then now that we've been able to, and we were using SDRs, like we had human sales development reps that were outbounding to the customer list. And that's how we're operating with Hatch now. Everybody's worried about AI like taking their jobs. We've approached it a little bit differently. We have not had to reduce headcount in the call center because we brought on AI. What it's allowed us to do is just really invest in the people that we have and carry that team forward as we grow, as opposed to having to add a new CSR every month as we grow. So we're able to take the team we have, the team we've built, and augment them with AI, and now they're able to do more. We've actually been able to give people raises or give them increased responsibility outside of just answering the phone and booking jobs. Coordination roles, service coordinator, install coordinator, permits. The operational cost savings is in that additional headcount that we would have had to add, both in the call center and in the office admin. That's $250,000, $300,000 a year. On the outbound SMS efforts, we're generating at least $100,000 a month off of those SMS broadcasts, sometimes as much as $250,000 a month. So it's been really impactful for us. And then on the Voice AI, I think the last 30 to 45 days and 120 leads were booked that wouldn't have been booked otherwise. That's 120 grand right there. And that's just in 4 to 6 weeks. A average call center will book like 65% of calls. And right now, Hatch AI is booking at 81% for us. We were worried about the customer experience, of course. Surprisingly, customers have been amused or intrigued. They're like, wow, that was really good. That's better than I expected. CSRs were worried when we first rolled this out, especially when we rolled it to the front of the phones. Customer finally reaches you and they're annoyed. And so you're talking to upset customers more frequently. It's like your interaction with the customer base is less pleasant. Your life is less pleasant because you're working this high volume all the time. So I think the CSRs have really enjoyed having this augmentation tool to just reduce the absolute deluge of call volume. They have the time now to take the notes on the job that they wish they could have taken before, do the wrap up. It's just a more pleasant experience with CSRs. Hatch, for lack of a better term, is like open source on the prompting as far as like our ability to adjust it, see it, adjust it, and understand what's happening. So if we see something weird happen on the phone, we can go in, we can adjust its knowledge base, we can adjust its script, and we can see that change on the very next call. For folks like us that are like watching phone performance closely, our ability to actually basically have our hand on the tools, for me, that was a huge selling point. What's nice is that Hatch just gives us one single platform to work in. So if someone jumps into a call, it's all right there, as opposed to having to switch from Service Titan to a siloed voice AI tool to a siloed SMS tool. We now have all that packaged in one place. Now that we've put voice AI on the front end of the phones, where it's taking every inbound call and only escalating the ones that need to be escalated to a human, we've reduced our total CSR time on the phones by 75%. The Hatch AI team's been great. We've really enjoyed working with the folks over there. They've been really supportive. We've solved problems together and really thought critically about how we're implementing this for our specific workflows and for just home service workflows in general. The Hatch team has been super supportive and super responsive. For anyone thinking about implementing AI on their phones, I would encourage the way we went about it, where you have AI roll in lieu of voicemail. So you're just missing less calls, actioning and monetizing the calls that you would have otherwise missed. I think that's a great way to gain comfort with AI being such an important part of your business.